Hey everyone, we are back with our first adventure of the evening, which I've entitled Stokey. Before we get into it, as always, we will be introducing our heroes. So, first up, we have recently off of a Fable tier victory. We have Sereina Nathvano, the Spider's Emissary. Serena, hello.
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Lucy's a little big today. She grew a bit from the last time I was here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How big is Lucy now?
Lucy's like about the size of a giant wolf spider now,
That
and
is a
Mike has
pretty big
shrunk a
size.
little, unfortunately.
Uh,
He's about the size of a tarantula right now.
Mike is small, but I feel like Mike still is pretty ferocious at the end of the day.
Of course,
Ferocious and of course the best sense. An adorable
obvious.
ferocious. He's a fighter. I'm glad to see
Yes.
that your spiders are doing very well. How are you, Serena? How are your new
Oh,
Fable?
it's been wonderful, really.
Mm.
Just You know, I've taken into consideration not crawling into people's windows, and I feel like people have been treating me much better.
That's I think that's very considerate. A lot of people aren't a big fan of, even if you're just invited as a guest in the home, coming in through the window. I feel like is sometimes frowned upon.
It really seemed that way while I was doing it.
Well, these are the kind of things you have to work out when you get used to your new sort of abilities here. But Serena, it is good to see you back once more.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Of course. Next up, we have returning once more, Zewxip. Zewxip, hello.
Greetings.
Zewxip, how are you?
We are fantastic. The sun has been shining. We've grown since you've last met us. It has
Hmm.
been so wonderful.
You've grown. You say when you say we have grown, do you mean that you individually, like your particular size, has grown, or you have grown as all Zewxips have grown in the number of Zewxips there are?
Yes.
That's a fair answer. So I'm glad to see that there's a lot of success for you on both fronts. Does growing for you as a Floran increase your strength and your connection with your sort of powers, or is it just the environment is pleasant, so you just get a little bit bigger?
Well, for many, they feel more invigorated, perhaps with the exposure to the sun, or on a hot day to maybe have a cool rain pass over and really just soak soak your innards and really just rehydrate yourself. You open yourself to the sky or the sea breeze. We've been sailing uh, off and on to make that connection again.
Hmm.
It's so freeing and wonderful. And we have met other Zewxips, as they too are also out and about.
Is it strange when you encounter another Zewxip, or I guess is it like just running into an old friend, or do you have to like get to know each Zewxip?
It's like running into an old stranger. We
Hmm.
recognize each other, but ultimately we each have lived our own lives and have stories to share. Uh, though, of course, in any family, there's always the the bit of the black sheep.
And who's the black sheep in your family? Just out of curiosity, there.
Oh, it's a Zewzip.
Well, Zewxip, welcome back. I'm glad the summer is treating you well.
Much appreciated.
Of course. And next up, we have returning the Protector, Jenny Galanodel. Jenny, good evening.
Good evening, Pete. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm alright. I'm in a little bit of a weird headspace.
Oh, why is that?
Well, between the whole being a paladin but being a warlock thing, very confusing. Very frustrating sometimes. Trying to do the right thing and then just, I don't know, dealing with a lot of things right now in my own head.
Well, I'm sorry about that, Jenny. It's I imagine that's pretty difficult. How long have you always known? I'm curious that you were a warlock. Uh, at kind of Korr, and then kind of told people that you were a paladin, or did you for a long time believe that your powers were divine and paladin,
I believed myself
paladinic
to
in
be
nature?
divine.
Hmm.
I believed myself to be a paladin, but I started to realize after not being accepted to the Academy of Light over and over and over again that I was not meant to be a paladin in nature, but in practice. But in practice, I am.
Absolutely. I mean, your spirit and your instincts to protect are on par with even the bravest paladin I've seen. And I certainly admire you for that, Jenny. But,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. Well, in that case, Jenny, I'm glad to have you back. And last but not least, Korr, the Korr. Korr, how are you?
I'm good.
Good? Just kind of just doing well? Anything new? Anything exciting going on in your life?
You would not believe all the kitties that I have pet.
Honestly, I'm starting to believe it. Corey, it seems like when you're downtime, you're just petting animals and hugging people.
They're so cute and fluffy.
How many? If you had to just put a number on it, just a stamp, how many small animals would you say that you have petted in your time, Corey?
I can't count that high.
I understand. Would you say that the number? I guess you would say that the number was big, for lack of a
It's
better.
about as big as me.
Okay, yeah, that's an immense number of that's an immense number of animals that you've petted. Well, I'm glad that you're finding happiness in between your adventure, making friends with these fluffy creatures.
It's pretty neat.
But are you ready to get out and do some good old fashioned adventuring? Take a break from the animal fluff lifestyle.
Yeah, I will find someone strong.
Excellent. I hope that you are able to do so today. As we step into our adventure, you are all traveling to Northtown. It is a town north of Central City, and specifically, you're going even a little bit north of Northtown, where there are large stretches of nature reserves. There are forests and parks up there that have been set aside to preserve the natural splendor of the land of DnDTime wilderness. But rumors have had it, and people have just been kind of abuzz about this lately, is that there have been some difficulties with forest fires here in the national parks up here north of Northtown. And some of the local park rangers have requested Bartholomew's adventurers to help with some of the more dangerous problems that have been coming along with these forest fires. So where we officially walk into today's adventure, you are all on the trail. Bartholomew kind of teleports you to a summoning circle in Northtown, and you've kind of followed the trail northward up to the very beautiful and lush pine forests that are north of here. And there is a bit of a smog in the air. You can see big plumes of smoke far off in the distance, kind of coming and rising out of the forest, thick and black, where the forest fires have been most prevalent. And you're aware that there are large teams that are working together to kind of stop and put them out. But you're approaching the main entrance into the national park. There is a lodge and sort of a traveler's guest house for tourists and people passing through. And as you approach, you can see a woman, heavy set, kind of a forest park ranger's hat and uniform. She kind of walks out to you and just goes, "Good afternoon, folks. It's very glad to see you up here to appreciate the beauty of nature. Unfortunately, the park's closed today. Well, you see, we're having some trouble with a couple of forest fires around here, and while we don't like to close off the splendor of nature to anyone, it's in your best interest. The forest is a bit dangerous today."
Excuse me, miss. We know. We were sent to help.
Right. We had requested some. We'd requested some help for some of the more dangerous operations. I suppose I should have known just by looking at all of you. You are all dressed, well, perhaps a bit different than the common cloth. My apologies. Thank you for getting out here so quickly. We got a bit of a tough situation on our hands.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Fire can. Get the voice right. Don't worry, fire can't hurt me much.
Is that really true? Because that's going to
Kind
be
of.
that's going to be
Partially.
invaluable. We might have to hire you back for some of the more, for some of the more flame direct operations. What we need you for today is actually something a bit different. And if you'll walk with me, I can be going walking you. Hello, by the way, all of you. And she kind of waves at the rest of you and greets you in the afternoon.
Hey,
Um,
Hi.
that's a big critter you got there. She points down at your spider.
Oh, she's wonderful.
She should be right at home in the woods up here. We actually find some of those big wolf spiders. They live here naturally, although unfortunately some of them have been driven out thanks to what's been going on. But she should find these woods right at home, and she begins stepping off, kind of lively into the forest. Come now, follow me. And yeah,
Okay.
Jenny follows.
yeah, you guys begin moving through, and the forest here, it's nice. The trails are all very well marked, and it's just sort of a pleasant hike that she is leading you through for a time until you reach a point at which it looks like they must have kind of started a fire here. And kind of burned out some of the forest fire after a few miles in, but you come to a chunk of forest that is just completely burnt out in ash, and you can see much more clearly on the horizon now. And yeah, as you're walking, there are just kind of bits of ash that are flitting through the air. It's absolutely a pretty sad sight to see the forest kind of brought down to this state. And she kind of continues to step through. Just painting to see it. We think the initial fire, at least, was started by some irresponsible campers. Um, and that's where I'm bringing you right now. We found some of the remnants caught up in the flames of their campsite over here.
But Smokey told us not to do that.
I suppose I'm not familiar with this individual, but yes, it's certainly not protocol. And she kind of walks forward, and eventually she comes to a spot that they seem to have kind of like cleaned out a little bit in the region. We think that they were camping here. You can see the remains of a campfire. You can see some tents and some like camping gear. You see like metal pythons that were put into the ground, presumably to take care of tents. But those are completely burned away. But you see like the remnants of a campsite. You can see rocks encircling a fire pit. That's all of it's kind of coated in a layer of ash. What's unfortunate is we haven't been able to find the people that were at this campsite. Obviously, we believe they might have been tending their fire irresponsibly. You can see the rocks aren't stacked nearly high enough. The pit isn't dug deep enough, and they started it. But we think that, we didn't find any bodies, and we've been looking for quite some time now. And, we just hope to death that they haven't been burned. But we likely would have found them if they were, which means they're still somewhere in the forest, perhaps still running from the flames.
How long ago was the fire started?
This section of the fire was a couple days ago now.
So
It's
they've been
moved
lost
quite a
for a
bit.
couple days?
Yes, 2 days now, exact.
Jenny will remember this, flashes across the screen.
Uh, yeah, they've been lost for a couple of days. We've doused everything around here, but it's still raging in other parts, and we're not sure what direction they ran or if they're safe. So we were hoping that you might try and go and track them down if they're there. If you make a few good sweeps and you're unable to find anything, we will, of course, see you still paid. We know it's a dangerous operation to go into the flames regardless.
I have a
And
question.
hopefully they're just in the forest around here. Right, yes.
If I find any animals, can I pet them?
Well, I'd be careful of some of the larger ones. There's some dangerous ones around here. And oftentimes, the animals that are wild around here, they actually prefer to be left alone in nature. Everything sort of has a balance around here, but,
I am rather large myself.
well, I trust that you know what you're doing, and if you think you can, then do it. But like I was saying, a lot of these animals prefer to be left alone, and also a lot of them have fled and run off to other forests because of the because of the fire. And yeah, actually, as you've kind of reached this point in the woods, these kind of like ashy trees, the bird song has completely disappeared. And you're just kind of walking over dry and brittle, burnt out wood. So I suppose I'll leave you to it. I don't know how you'd go about tracking them down, but I trust that you'll have your ways. Do you need anything else from me?
What is your name?
Oh, she kind of chuckles a little bit. My name is Styx, Melanie Styx.
It is nice to meet you, Miss Styx.
Of
Melanie,
course,
do
nice
you
to meet
have a
as well.
map of the surrounding area?
I can. I actually have one right here. We keep them on hand for anyone touristing through. And she hands you a well-drawn map of the forest and surrounding region. It has a few kind of landmarks on it, different places that are part of this kind of national forest, sites to be seen. And you are kind of where you hiked to. You are towards the heart of the forest right now, but not quite.
Yeah, I'll just double check and make sure, like, I'll get her to point on the map exactly where we are.
Yeah, she points it out, and there is kind of a single, taller, kind of almost mountainous peak that you can see the top of that rises up a bit on the horizon. And she kind of looks and points off of that and gives you a kind of a good sketch of where you are and which direction you're facing. So you have your bearings in the forest with this map.
Perfect.
And well, I gotta get back, make sure no one wanders in. Like I said, well, as you can tell, the forest's dangerous today. Don't want anyone out for a hike and then stumbling into all that smog.
Yes, thank you.
Of course, of course. And yeah, she steps back and begins walking back to her post at the front. And there the four of you are, and you have a kind of a map of the forest. What would you all like to do?
Fire is such a fickle thing. If they were running from an out of control fire, imagine they tried to find a local stream bed where there's water and they can lie low from the smoke, or perhaps a cave. Is there a stream or some caves nearby on the map?
Yeah. So you begin. Go ahead and make an investigation check. I assume you're looking around, not just at the. You're looking at the map, and then you're looking at like the surrounding area and stuff.
Can I give them the help action?
I don't think they need it in this case, but we'll say that you were also helping as you were looking through the map. But an 18, yeah. So you examine the map. You can find from that the nearest stream. There is a small river that kind of runs through. There's a larger one on the northern part of the forest, but there's a section of it that kind of runs down, and it crosses and kind of moves around the outskirts of the mountain in a sense. And while there's no caves marked, you assume that that mountain would be around the area where a cave would be if there were one. So that would be probably a good place to hide. You can also see, following the river down a ways, the fires are kind of denser at the base of the mountain right now. That's like where the fire currently is spread to. So you can see thick smoke coming up from that region, but the stream kind of guides you that way. I think also with that investigation check, just as you're moving around the space, you're walking and kind of some of the ash beneath your feet kind of clears away, and you can see on the ground what look like very big paw prints.
Local wildlife must have been fleeing the fire.
But as you're kind of examining them more closely, you can see the paw prints. They're not just like impressions. They're beneath the ash for one thing, and they're not just base impressions. It almost seems like the bottom of them are scorched. The ground there is blackened even more so than some of the surrounding areas. The dirt.
Interesting.
Can I roll a nature check to see if I can determine what this creature is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would anyone like to assist me? No?
I don't
Okay.
think I don't know if there's a way for them to assist
Yeah.
you in your.
I mean, Korr is dumb. So
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say, your own memory. Yeah, you're looking at him. I mean, it looks like, I don't know, big bear or something big. You can tell that.
Yeah.
You think to yourself, these paw prints are of something big that would have a paw.
Mm-hmm. If I was playing another character, one of my personality traits might have this creature's name in the personality trait, but I'm not.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Oof.
So yeah, are you going to head in that direction then, following Zewxip's kind of guidance and pushing you over towards that river, that stream?
Yep.
All right. In that case, you begin walking through the ash, and it's again, I imagine for you in particular, Zewxip, seeing all the nature just kind of destroyed here, the ash just kind of falling in the air as you're moving, still rolling through the skies. You begin making your way over to the river, and what you imagine was, once you eventually arrive, at one time a very nice kind of bubbling brook and stream, is now just, again, the ash is just kind of in a layer over the top of it. And you begin kind of following your way down it in the direction of the mountain. What are your...
I have the cantrip gust. So if there's some piles of ash, or if we need to do a little investigating, maybe finding more of these mysterious paw prints, can I use that to kind of blow some ash out of the way to see what's underneath?
Yeah, for sure. So you're using Gust to kind of clear out the ground as you walk and get a better idea. Go ahead and make me... want to make a survival check, and I'll give you advantage on it, and this will be kind of like your tracking roll to see how well you're able to kind of follow these. You follow them for a little bit, and you're catching them for a little while, and there's more of these prints, these more blackened prints, especially more near to the campsite where you originally were. But after a short time, you find a couple more that don't have that kind of charred base on the bottom of them, like whatever they were, kind of it stopped to burn and be hot, whatever was touching the surface here, and then they're a little bit harder to find, and you eventually lose the trail. So yeah, you're not quite able to track the direct path of whatever this was, but you do kind of follow the river, and as you're getting to that point, you start to notice signs of lingering flames. You're getting very close to the thick plumes of smoke rolling up through the forest, and as you track along the river, you can see in the distance, the mountain. It's some of the more rocky terrain. The mountain is still relatively well forested, but that terrain in the region is, there's like a lot of like kind of hiding places. You imagine if you're looking for caves, that would probably be the spot for it. But there's, like I said, there's some trees that are still like burning here. You can see licks of flame kind of coursing up as you're kind of getting closer to the real heart of the forest fire.
If there's small fires, then I'd like to use mold earth to put them out, keep things from spreading or from smoke continuing to billow up and prevent the forest from healing. And of course, during pocket creatures, I learned that fire is weak to ground, so I want to apply that knowledge.
Yes, Korr will also use his very large feet to stamp out fires.
Okay. Yeah, both of you are going through and, just protecting and putting out little motes of flame where you can. They're a little bit too spread out unless you were dedicated to just doing this. It would take a while to get everything, but the things that you can and that are easy, you guys are putting out without too much issue.
Yeah, just what's along the way.
Yeah, and Korr, you are, your feet are getting hot for sure, but you're good. You're the Korr. You could stamp out a fire every once in a while. And yeah, you all continue along the river, and at this point, what are all of your passive perceptions?
14.
I believe mine is 11.
11.
Mine's
Same.
14 as well.
All right, so Sereina and Zewxip, both of you see, you reach a point in the river where it kind of curves around a bend, and you can see this part of the forest is still very heavily engulfed in flames. The smoke is kind of pouring upwards, and just kind of among as you kind of round the river bend and get to this point, you can see in the distance just a figure kind of silhouetted in the flames for just a brief moment. They kind of look in your direction, and as soon as they see you, they run deeper into the burning forest. That figure looked humanoid.
Jenny chases after it. Wait, Jenny
You
didn't
have-
see it.
you
Never
haven't
mind.
seen it yet. Yeah. Zewxip, Serena, what do you guys do or say?
Investigate where this humanoid we saw. Was it
Uh,
just a silhouette against sort of a backdrop of fire in the?
Yeah, it was tough to make up any features, but they looked about humanoid in size. Medium creature. Do you want to like go in? Because like I said, they're in like the forest fire proper.
Oh, they went. Okay, and all right. How much water is in this river or stream? Is it flowing?
It's flowing, yeah.
All right, what I'd like to do is use gust of wind while I'm in the river bank, and I would just like to blow a bunch of water into the forest.
Okay, yeah, sure. So you're gonna kind of set up a gust of wind, and you begin moving down. The stream itself isn't quite deep enough for you to like be completely submerged. You're up to about your waist in this little kind of like winding brook. But you get in and you begin just throwing a powerful gust of wind. Water splashes out, and you can hear the hisses of you can hear the rush of steam as different fires are being quenched and doused. Thick plumes of smoke kind of move up, obscuring the area even more, and the figure kind of fades from sight a little bit deeper into the woods.
I'm gonna do something similar, but of course, gonna get water in his mouth and then spit it on the fires.
All right, that's probably not quite as effective as the gust of wind, where I think the gust of wind is actually, putting out a good amount of the fire, but you're spitting some water at some fires. You're surprised why it's not as powerful as the big giant torrents. Zewxip, Sri, are you gonna like share what you saw with the rest of the
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, you tell Jenny and Korr that you saw this kind of strange figure moving through the flames.
Which way did it go?
It went further into the fire.
Korr is gonna do what Korr can do, and he's going to transform into a tiny bird. And he's gonna fly up and over and look for them.
Okay. Korr, go ahead and make me, as you begin to fly upwards, you look down and the area is just engulfed in smoke and fog. I need you to make me both a Constitution saving throw and a Perception check, and the Perception check will be at disadvantage because of the heavy smoke.
I'm good at one of those things.
You're actually better at perception than you usually are, but worse at Constitution because you have a bird's Constitution. So I think you're just rolling a d20 for your Constitution plus your proficiency.
Oh, I didn't know that I used the bird stats.
Yeah, you use the bird stats.
I don't know the bird stats.
It's just a flat 10, I believe.
Okay. Second, as I roll those things then. That was a d10, not a d20. Why did I roll that?
Oof.
Oh, but that's a nat 1 on the Constitution check.
But still make a perception check with disadvantage.
What's the bonus on that one?
I think it's wisdom is like +1 or 10 or something like that. We'll do d20 +1 or 2d20 because it's at disadvantage.
True. Yeah, I need to do the 2d20.
8. All right, yeah. You fly upwards, and the smoke is too thick. And as soon as you begin moving to it, trying to kind of like figure out what's going on, you immediately have to ground yourself as your bird lungs fill up with smoke, and you whatever it sounds like when a bird coughs, but some very strained chirps and tweets. As you are forced to kind of like make a landing, the sky seems like it's not going to be an option here just because of how thick the smoke is. But yeah, Jenny, you said you were just rushing right in, right?
Yep.
All right, so Jenny, you guys all see as Jenny, runs through. Jenny, you kind of cross over the river, so you just get doused a little bit in water before you move into the burning space. And as you do so, it's getting on an evening, but obviously the light of the light of the flames is making everything very bright around here. Plus, of course, your elfin eyes, and you're looking around the space, and now you too see this figure. And as soon as you do, you kind of look at them, and they run even a little bit deeper, and they're actually. You catch in their hand, they're holding a torch at the moment.
I mean, my elven eyes had nothing to do with it. Maybe my devil side, though.
Oh, yeah, perhaps that. But yeah, you see them holding a torch.
Okay.
Definitely a little bit suspicious. Also, you catch out of the corner of your eye, now that you're in the fire proper, you see another humanoid figure kind of dart and flip between the trees. And then a third. And
so
it looks
there's
like a whole bunch of
fire going on, right?
Yeah, there's fire all around them, and they seem to be wearing common clothes. You can also see in places they look like they're pretty burned, and you can see places where their clothes have like burned or torn off.
So there's fire, but they're holding a torch.
Yep, they're holding torches.
That is weird. Can I make some kind of history or maybe an intelligence related check that would give me more information on maybe if I've like seen like cultists like this or anything of the sort?
Yeah, go ahead and
I
make
think that would be more religion.
Yeah, that was actually what I was going to say, was go ahead and make a religion check, because I think what that would be.
Sure. 17.
Oh, nice. You go back through and think, and no cult comes to mind that you can think of a lot of fire cults, but none that are so none that are so dedicated that they just kind of like burn down trees and woods and stuff like that. You get the impression that this probably isn't a cult. These individuals are just either insane or strange, but they also don't seem to be all that organized, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But they are just kind of like scampering through and trying to like keep their distance from you. But you can see like one of them like leans over with their torch, and there's like a bush that's near the center of the stream as it's passing through. They like run through the water holding up their torch. The stream splits around a little rock, and there was a bush that hadn't caught there, and they put their torch into it and begin like the process of trying to like light this one piece of unblighted space within this chunk of the forest.
So they crazy, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
That means they're bad people. In Jenny's mind, anyway.
Yeah. And they're continuing. They've definitely noticed you guys moving through the forest at this point, but they're still kind of going about their business, looking to try and make this fire as efficient as they can.
Yeah, if these dudes are going around tossing flame where they should not be tossing flame, Jenny's gonna toss them a little bit of Eldritch Blast.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Alright, 2 attack rolls?
Oh, yes, of course.
26?
26 gonna hit, roll damage on that. 8 points, and you fire an Eldritch Blast through at one of the one that was in the process, I think, of trying to burn that bush. And as you do, the Eldritch Blast hits, and they just collapse onto the ground with kind of a, you just hear kind of a groan, and they fall backwards into the stream. The torch that they were holding goes out in the water there.
Nice. And then I shoot
The
off
second one
another
also
one.
hits. Roll damage on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's enough as well. You take down another one of these individuals, and they also collapse. This person was deeper into the forest, and now they're just in the forest, which is burning. but they fall.
Cool.
Yeah, you take one down. That one, seeing the other two go down, begins running off and away even faster.
Oh, if only I had Hunter's Mark as a bonus action. Okay.
What's the range on hunters?
It's not Hunter's Mark. I have Hex, but like
Okay.
Hunter's Mark would allow me to track them. But
Yeah, that's
since I
true.
have Hex, it's just
Yeah. Oh, you just don't have hunter's mark, is what you're saying.
yeah. I will Hex though because it does give disadvantage on ability checks. So if this dude's trying to be athletic and run through the forest, he has disadvantage now.
All right, sure.
Hexing his strength.
I'll give him a chance to fail here. We'll see how he does. 2d20. 4. All right, yeah. He's kind of like running through, and you see his leg kind of catch up. A tree begins to kind of like crack and fall in his path. And as it does, he kind of stumbles and falls onto his back, not quite breaking the path. And now he's just kind of fallen over, giving you guys time. What is everyone else doing while Jenny's doing this? Have you guys also like crested into the flames proper? Because I think Jenny's the only one at the moment that has actually entered into the burning forest.
Have I been able to suppress any of the flames with?
I mean, you're
my water
suppressing
spray?
the area around you, and I think you've suppressed like up to the point. Now you've kind of like caught up with Jenny in the forest by like taking out flames, but like the scale of this, so you've like suppressed the area. You could like kind of keep this up moving forward if you want. It's just going to be a very slow process, and there's a lot of flames. There are a lot of flames. Sereina, Korr, what are you guys doing?
Serena's gonna go over to the, because there's a person who like fell in the water, right?
Yeah, they fell in the water.
So Serena's gonna go over and like pull him out of the water.
Okay, you drag them out. They seem thoroughly taken down by the Eldritch Blast. They're unconscious. They kind of fell face down, so as you do so, you know, they probably would have drowned had you not. But you turn them over and drag them up onto the side. They're still breathing, it looks like.
Serena is gonna make some web and then tie this person up, and then she's gonna... Are they like... They're unconscious, right?
Yeah, you can see their body is like I said, pretty heavily burned in places, and you know their hair is kind of like singed, their clothing as well. But they're breathing but unconscious. They also look like they don't have a lot of life left in them.
Okay, after tying him up, Serena's gonna cast Cure Wounds on him.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And as you do, you see some of the burn wounds kind of heal over, and they... Where am I? They look up around, kind of confused and dazed. It's so hot. Choking and gasping a bit on the smoke. They look up at you. You're kind of you're on the riverbank, but you're in the kind of the thicket of the fire right now. What do you want to say to them?
Why were you burning the forest?
Why was I what? Oh no, what's happened? He's looking around and looking at the forest around him. You think I did this?
We watched you do it.
No. How did I get... Who are you? How did I get here?
I'm not sure. We found you in the fire with a torch.
No, I was camping. Me and my friends were camping not far from here. Where? Did you know where my friends are?
I think they may be the other ones burning the forest.
And he just kind of, as you're kind of like talking and he's looking at the flames, you see his eyes kind of are starting to like gloss over a little bit, and for a second he just kind of like looks up at the fire and he reaches down and kind of grabs the torch, and you see his eyes kind of flit with this red light for a brief moment. He shakes his head and kind of, no, me and my friends, we were just camping. And then he thinks for some, we saw that creature. And
What kind of creature?
it was tall. It was some kind of bear. And it looked at us, but it walked on 2 legs. And it came up to us. We were just at our campfire. We were cooking for the night. We wanted to camp in the forest. That's all I remember.
I'm gonna relay this information to everybody else.
Yeah, I think you guys are largely like gathered around, and you kind of hear this conversation. This guy's there, bewildered. How do we get out of here? Is it safe? Can I follow the river back? Is this safe? And he's just terrified, looking at like the flames licking up in the forest around.
Jenny, meanwhile, is chasing down that dude who stumbled.
All right. You kind of catch up. You kind of catch up to this individual, and this individual, they're kind of staggering and trying to find a way to get around this downed tree. And as you look in their eyes are kind of just kind of a brilliant red, and you can almost see like a flickering flame within, kind of burning behind his irises. And he's, moving around, looking. He's got his torch still, and he's kind of like relit it after falling down. It kind of snuffed out, and he's just looking for a path through. You get up close, and he looks at you, and he just kind of says, "Stay away!" And he kind of puts the torch out to you and beckons with it kind of fiercely. What do you do?
I'm going to hit him with the Frankenblade.
All right. Go ahead and roll initiative, because this guy's going to also try to attack you.
Sure.
Oh!
Wow.
He's going to go bop you with his torch. That's a 14.
Cool.
Is that
19
going
AC.
to hit? Yeah. I
No,
think so.
19
All right, yeah,
AC.
he goes to slam down on you with the torch, but you kind of dodge deftly out of the way, and then go ahead and make an attack roll.
This is non-lethal.
Yeah, I suspected.
He is still hexed. Blap.
He is no longer conscious.
Hold on.
Yeah, all right. I mean, you get him. He's extremely unconscious. You've taken out this commoner. He, for a brief moment, he doesn't do anything. He just falls over. He's out like a light. Korr, Zewxip, Zewxip, are you still just trying to like push forward into the forest with the river and the water?
As much as I can. The waters, I'm hoping, gives me a little bit more dousing power from the wind alone. The spell does put flames out, but if I've run out of sort of spray room or the range on it, then I'll slowly ascend out, and I'm going to be putting out fires, using maintaining concentration with the gust of wind.
All right, go ahead and just make me an Arcana check, because I think this is mostly your magical power. Or I'll let you make an unskilled spellcasting roll as well if you'd like. Charisma roll. Arcana or Charisma. To see how effective this is. Yeah, 21. So yeah, you're pushing the water up with the gust of wind, and you're cutting a pretty clean swath through. I mean, you're never going to be able to put out the whole forest this way, but you're definitely making it safe for you and your allies, and these, presumably it seems like they were being controlled by some kind of magic, these campers that have now all been kind of taken out, save the one that Sereina has tied up in webs. Korr, what are you up to? Oh. Korr? We might have lost Wild for a moment. Yeah, so you guys are kind of there. You have these 3 people. What do you do?
I'm going to make sure that none of them are dead.
Go ahead. Well, the one that you knocked unconscious is not dead. The one that Sereina cured wounds was not dead. But the other one, as he's been in the fire, is gonna roll some saves. Oh. The other one's also still alive.
Yeah.
And you go and kind of drag them into the water, I imagine, as well.
Yeah.
And then kind of lay them down. So yeah, you guys have kind of found the 3 campers here that seem to have gone missing. And
is this the group that they told us to find?
it seems like it might be.
I turn to the rest of the adventures and I say, "Well, job done."
And as you kind of say that, a voice kind of booms out of the forest ahead of you, and that voice kind of calls out, "Where are you now? Come now. We have a lot of work to do, folks."
Can I try to deception? Can I try to deception to make myself sound like the dude who's like talking to us with the cute ones?
Go ahead and make
be
a
like-
performance check. I think that'd probably be.
Yeah. I mean, deception.
Well, go ahead and this is
It's
you're
the
trying
same
to
bonus.
sound,
They
you're
both
trying
have
to sound
7.
it, yeah.
It's the same.
What do you say?
We are here, master. We serve.
And as you kind of say that, you begin to hear kind of some heavy footsteps moving closer. All right, I'm coming. I'm coming. What do you do?
I'm going to get ready to move my Eldritch, my Hex over to this new target and Eldritch Blast them.
All right. And Zewxip, you've kind of like cleared out this chunk of forest, and it's pretty well doused. But you see emerging now out of the woods a figure with kind of like heavy footsteps, tall, standing very upright. In the distance, they look like a massive humanoid. But on the top of their head, they're wearing what looks like a hat, not dissimilar to the one that you saw that forest ranger wearing. Oh, it looks like Wild got kicked out. That was the problem. They're wearing a hat not dissimilar to the one... What? You there, Wild?
Yes, sorry.
They're wearing a
Yeah,
hat like the one that you saw that forest ranger wearing. And at their side, it seems kind of hefting as they're moving through the flames. What looks like a very massive fireman's axe. They stand maybe like 10 or 15 feet tall. And they look like a big humanoid bear as they call out, "All right, like I was saying, we got a lot of work to do. Come now,
Getting it done. All the water, all the wind. Trees are going out one by one.
Oh, it looks like we have some new friends joining us. Very good." And he kind of steps over, and you see as he walks, that big kind of tree that had fell over, he just takes his foot and steps right through it, and you see it kind of bursts into flames and just cracks under his step as he continues forward. The flames just seeming to wash over his fur, and he gets kind of closer and closer.
Is it avoiding the water at all, or is it soaked?
It doesn't seem to be going through the water. It doesn't necessarily seem like it's going out of its way to avoid it, but it's not walking in the water. It's just walking through flames, and they're seeming to have no effect on this creature as it's walking closer and closer.
Okay.
It's in range to Hex as it's walking up towards you.
Your strength betrays you. Hex him.
You gonna Hex his strength?
Yeah.
All right, and he gets he's walking up closer and closer. Actually, at that point, why don't you roll for initiative as you as you move your Hex onto him?
Is this everyone?
I think everyone.
Me and Maddie are on the same page.
Same wavelength. Looks like Korr still having some issues. When you get a chance, to fix it up, Korr, why don't you go ahead and roll initiative for me? But in the meanwhile, you cast Hex on this creature, and he looks down at you, and yeah, it just looks to be the face of this terrifying bear, wielding, like I said, a fireman's axe, and he wheels towards you. Now, no need for violence. I need your help here. Only you can invent forest fires, as the bear kind of smiles, and his eyes kind of glow a brilliant red. I need you to make me a wisdom save.
Would you say that this bear is trying to charm
This
me?
would absolutely be a charming effect.
A wisdom save with advantage, then.
Indeed.
18.
You succeed. And for a brief moment, your mind kind of reels, and you have this intense desire to contribute to the flames that Zewxip has been working so hard to douse. But it kind of passes, and as he sees that you're not succumbing, you see he kind of takes his fireman's axe, and he goes, "The hard way, then. Just a few more logs for the fire, I guess." And he begins, and with heavy footsteps runs at you, the fire kind of blazing in the background behind him. And he's gonna go ahead and make an attack at you with his big old axe. As he runs at you, this bear silhouetted by flames is gonna go ahead and swing at you.
Negative.
It's a 14, and nope, a 10. A couple rough rolls for him. Yeah, he goes and swings, and you block one and then dodge one out of the way. Your armor too high for that. As this creature is now bearing down on you, you guys all see this huge bear run up and humanoid bear run up and try and maul Jenny with an axe. As we move on to, I think it's your turn now, Jenny.
We have the same initiative. Can I defer to Maddie?
Absolutely.
Has this only been 3 rounds, or have we been in narrative time? Because I can only concentrate on Gust of Wind for a minute.
I think I think we've been kind of in some narrative time there, where a lot has been happening. But your Gust of Wind is probably out at this point.
Sure.
You'd have
Okay.
to cast.
In that case, this bear has rushed forward, has this giant axe. I'm still in the water, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trudge out of the water, and I'm going to try and position myself eventually. I don't know if I can do it this round, but next round to be behind this bear and see if I can't reactivate Gust of Wind and start blowing them into the stream.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. Go ahead and well, you're setting yourself up behind him. So yeah, you're moving a little bit deeper into the forest. So now to do that, you'll have to put yourself in the part of the forest that is burning. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So in that case, you get into that position, and then you're gonna make him make a strength save. Is that what it is?
Yeah, if I can move behind him and activate it that turn, I wasn't sure how far away or.
Yeah, he ran up.
Without
He
provoking
ran
an
up to your group. So yeah, you can do it without even provoking an attack. You're good.
Okay, so I will do Gust of Wind, and I will also invoke Heightened Spell, so he has imposed disadvantage on the strength.
Ooh, all right. So he's going to make a strength save with disadvantage. It's an 18 and then a 12. So he gets thrown backwards as he staggers. Does he fall prone as well?
1 second.
Or is it just push him back? It's treacherous terrain, so I'll let him make a dex. Yeah, he's probably going to stay up if it doesn't force him prone. As a bonus action...
I don't see where it
No,
makes
it
him prone, so that would be your call if he's getting tripped up. Or...
Yeah, so I think it trips him up a little bit, but he makes a dex. He rolled a good dex save, which is what I had him do. So yeah, he gets thrown backwards, and he falls a little bit into the river, and he's now submerged up to his waist. And as soon as he gets in there, you see the river and water begin to like bubble and steam, like his body is just incredibly hot, and steam kind of pours out of the space. And he kind of like shakes and kind of wiggles a bit, but he doesn't seem happy about being in there. That's for sure. Anything else on your turn?
No, that'll be all.
Yeah, but he's up to his waist in water now. As we move now, actually, and at the start of your at the end of your turn, rather, if you end your turn in the flames, just take 1 point of fire damage.
Noted.
Do I
Actually,
need
you're
to roll
resistant to
a
fire, aren't you?
I I can be if I spend a sorcery point when I cast.
Oh, okay. That's how it is. So
Mr.
yeah,
Pete,
you
do I
just
need
take
to
one
roll
from
initiative?
there. Yes, you do.
Okay. I apologize for technical difficulties and all that.
It happens. A 7, so you actually wouldn't have even missed your first initiative as we move now on to Jenny.
Nice.
Alright, so this dude's no longer in melee with me?
No, he's basically he's in melee on the other side of you because you were on the river and then he got pushed back into the river. So he's
still in melee.
He's still in melee, just a reverse melee.
What? Let's not make this weird, Pete. Alright. Jenny pounds the Frankenblade across her shield, and then pounds her chest, and then makes a dice rolling motion at her crotch level, and throws the dice towards this
Classic.
bear creature's face, taking the dodge action, and they're going to bonus action put the Hexblade's Curse upon this creature.
All right, you put the Hexblade's Curse upon this creature. Consider him thoroughly cursed. And then are
Hexed
you...
and cursed.
Yeah, that's a bad combination for this guy. And what are you gonna do?
Dodge action.
Fair enough. You take the dodge action. He's there doused in the waters. Move on to Sereina. What would you like to do, Sereina?
While insulting him to his face.
Yeah, he doesn't seem happy about it, that's for sure.
Sereina is gonna get Lucy to... Would Lucy be in range to be able to attack him?
Yeah, Lucy can get into range to attack. If
Yeah.
you'd like to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and have Lucy go ahead and make an attack roll. Lucy gets right up and is going to hit for 19. Yeah, 19 absolutely hits. You see Lucy's fangs go to dig in, and he's going to make a Constitution saving throw. And he definitely fails that. So he goes and, or Lucy, she goes and bites in, and the fangs, like, they kind of pierce through, but as they pull out, there's no blood seeming to come back from it. The poison seeps into the wound and affects it, but are your ranger companions' weapon attacks aren't considered magical yet, are they? I think you get that eventually, but...
I don't think I have that yet.
Okay, yeah. So it seems like the piercing part of the attack did no damage, but the 9 poison damage absolutely seeps in as you see it kind of some of the veins around Stokey the bear's arms are bubbling over, changing color. And he kind of groans and pulls his arm back, trying to push the spider away. Anything else on your turn?
I think that's everything.
All right. In that case, we're going to move on to Korr. There's a giant bear with an axe. It seems to be Stokey the bear. What do you want to do?
Stokey, you've betrayed me.
Smokey wouldn't have betrayed you. Stokey did betray you, though.
I may not be good at investigating, but I'm good at fighting.
That's for sure.
Did I ever transform out of bird?
A minute passed, so yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to charge him.
All
with
right.
Bird Song.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Tweet!
I like to imagine Korr would have charged him even if he was a bird.
Oh, he would have. No, he would have, and then he would have
Sure.
turned into a Goliath in
into a
midair and
Korr.
fell on him.
That's absolutely going to hit. Roll damage. And Birdsong's a magic weapon, so that's going to deal that full 13 points of piercing damage. 22
Korr is a
damage.
big boy.
Yeah, that hits. He kind of goes, "Oh, that smarts, young man." Anything else on your turn?
No, that's all I can do. I moved in.
Don't you have 2 attacks now?
Do I have 2 attacks
What
now?
level are you?
I'm level 5.
Yeah, you have 2 attacks.
Oh, I do have 2 attacks. And then yes, I'll attack again.
Yeah,
I
do it up.
do not play 5e fighter as much as I
All
should.
good, all good. 16 will also hit, and roll damage on that as well.
The biggest
For
boy.
21 points of piercing damage, or to all said and done. Great. You stab him twice. He's getting beat up. As we move back around to the top of the initiative, it is
Actually,
his turn.
I do have one more thing I can do.
I'm gonna action surge.
Oh, Jesus! All right, yeah, you're just gonna absolutely wail on him. Go ahead and 13 hits. He is a very big and easy to hit. So yeah, roll damage on both of those. Oof, that's a lot of damage. That's the
You'll
power
need
of
some
being.
flex tape for that
That's
one.
the power of being a large character. Another 28 on top of that. So with that one, a
49
Yeah.
damage on him total.
That's a big round. That's a big round. You stab 4 times as you unleash an incredible torrent, and Stokey the bear, and kind of like rolls back, kind of being pushed around in the water. As that's going to bring us then in initiative to Stokey, who's going to look at you, Korr, and his eyes just kind of once again kind of flash with this incredible red. I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
I'm not good at those. Oh no.
And Korr, your eyes kind of, you see all Korr's eyes behind them, just lights of flame seem to grow. And he kind of puts a hand on your shoulder and goes, "Keep it lit, don't extinguish it." And you now, until the end of your next turn, you have to spend your entire turn working as effectively as you can to spread the fire in this region.
I'm glad I used my action surge last game.
And then he's going to swing around and try and strike down at you with his fireman's axe, which he has disadvantage on. It's a 16.
16 misses.
That was not against you. That was against Jenny. That's what I meant. He had disadvantage because of the dodge. That's a 21 still. 21 hits, I assume.
Yeah, I'll let it hit.
And that fire damage does not happen is because he was completely doused in the water. His flame tongue fireman's axe has been temporarily deflamed as it's dripping wet as it goes and swings at you. So you just take a very light 6 slashing damage. As we move next in initiative to Zewxip.
I need to roll a con save.
Actually, no. At the end of this turn, he's going to circle around you and basically get back into get out of the gust of wind where it is, and get back onto the bank where he's not going to get blown into the river.
Is he leaving my threat range?
No, he's staying. He's just circling around you.
Okay.
He's going back to basically his old spot. And as you see, he kind of exits the water. The fire on his axe relights at the end of his turn. And yeah, now it is your turn, Zewxip. What do you want to do?
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna do this dance, because he climbed out and he's behind me now, or
He's behind Jenny.
oh, okay. Well, I'll reposition to try and knock him back into the river.
It's going to be hard to not get Jenny too. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, because what's supposed to happen? I blow him further into the river.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So he's going to make a strength saving throw. And he fails again, and once more the wind keeps pushing him backwards and into the river. And it's just a bonus action to move it, right?
Yeah, it's a bonus action to change the direction of the wind.
All right, so yeah, he's thrown backwards into the river, and he just kind of does the animal shake as his fur kind of bristles and he's soaking wet, and his axe lights off again. And yeah, you still have an action. What else do you want to do on your turn?
Things are getting spicy. If I have an action, I'll just take the defensive stance.
You're gonna dodge. Very well.
Yeah.
That's gonna bring us to Jenny. What do you want to do?
Is this dude still
Actually,
within melee?
Jenny, you need to make a
Sure.
strength save to see if you get pushed. Yeah, you also get pushed. So yeah, he's still within melee. You both
Okay.
move basically to the same spot in the river.
All right. Yeah. Are we still in melee with Korr?
Yeah. Oh, and Korr, you also need to make a strength save to see if you also get pushed. I forgot that you were in the pile. You have advantage.
Don't worry,
because you're
I have advantage on these because I'm large.
yeah, your advantage because you're huge. 23. Yeah, Korr is no longer in melee.
Okay. I am going to tell Korr, hit him with range if you have it. I'm going to take the dodge action and
Fire.
stay in his face.
Yeah, Korr looks back at you, just fire. As we move now on to Serena's turn.
Okay, Serena. Can I cast Ensnaring Strike on Lucy so that her hit applies
Yeah,
Ensnaring Strike?
I think that you can. I'm not certain about that, but I'm going to rule in this moment that you can.
Okay.
It just seems like something cool a ranger would be able to do. 12 is going to hit, and he's going to make another Constitution saving throw, and then he also has to make a save against Ensnaring Strike, right? Discreet.
Yeah.
So he's going to make a con for the... Oh wait, that was Dex, not con. Roll con. He is going to succeed on... Oh, yeah, he is going to succeed on the Constitution saving throw, and then the Strength saving throw, he also succeeds on that one. So the Ensnaring Strike goes to lock him into place, and he kind of flexes his bare muscles, and the vines kind of rip, and the poison doesn't seem to get him quite as bad, but he still takes half damage from the poison, as a whole bunch of stuff happens
His
at once.
bare muscles.
Also, I think for that particular attack, because you Ensnaring Striked, that attack would be a magical attack, so he also takes the full piercing damage as the blade sinks deep. And yeah, he's going to take a whole bunch of damage, but is not affected by this Ensnaring Strike. Anything else on your turn?
I think that's everything.
All right. Korr, the turn is yours. How do you make this fire worse?
Now, Korr doesn't have much he can do to make fire work. So I'm torn here. And I need to ask you a very important question.
Please.
Does Korr still have regard for his ally?
No, all you care about is trying to make the fire as bad as you can.
So, it's possible that he would think to use Zewxip as kindling.
That's definitely possible. Are you gonna try and toss Zewxip into the flames?
I mean, I don't have anything else I can do to make flames bigger.
All right.
Thor barely wears anything, so he can't just... Yeah. I'm going to make athletics to do that.
This gigantic creature towers over you, Zewxip, as...
This is an advantage.
Down at you, his eyes flaming. I need you to make an acrobatics check or an acrobatics or athletics to try and resist.
Please roll high.
No. 12. Unfortunately not. This hand of this and you're I think 14 or 15 feet tall because you are a large
16
creature.
feet tall.
16 feet tall because you're a large creature. Just one hand wraps around you, Zewxip, and you Korr just marches you off into the woods, pushing you back into the flames. I need both of you as you get deeper into the forest to take actually, and you trigger the first, since you did a successful action to stoke the forest fire. As you're pushing him back, something that you weren't entirely even aware of, it looks like there's just a nice concentration of pine resin here. I need both of you to make me dexterity saving throws. As there's a sudden explosion, as just a big gout of flame casts outwards. You take the full 14 from that effect, Zewxip, as you take 14 points of fire damage. Korr, you only take 7 points of fire damage.
I'm gonna Stone's Endurance that.
Can you do it against a saving throw, or is it just any source of damage?
It's any source of damage.
Yep, then you're good. You take no damage.
That completely negates.
Yep, you completely negate it. Yeah, Zewxip, you get caught up pretty heavily in this blast of flame as this emerges from the forest, but you are still concentrating.
Make a con save for concentration. I accidentally rolled an ability.
Yep, you're good on that. You maintain your concentration. And Korr, at the end of your turn, you also just take, for being in the burning forest, you take 4 points of fire damage.
Okay.
And at the end of your turn, your eyes subside and you think about the terrible thing that you have done.
I'm so sorry.
The forest fire rages even hotter now. Actually, I'm sorry, because the forest fire was made hotter by your actions. You take a total of 7 points of fire damage, so another 3. And
I'm so sorry.
that's going to bring us around to the top of the initiative. Stokey is going to look over at you, Zewxip, I think, who you're kind of caught up in the flames. And he looks over. You're doing a great job. Keep at it. And he's going to use his ability on you. I need to make a wisdom save. That's going to just barely succeed. As for a moment, Zewxip, the flames of your master, you think about wielding them in another way, but you decide not to. Then he is going to just continue to swing down at Jenny with the fireman's axe. That's a 14 is going to miss, and then a 20.
If I keep letting you hit me, oh no. Alright, 20 will hit, sure.
You take 11 points of slashing damage, and he's going to hop out of the bank, this time provoking an opportunity attack onto the other side.
Oh, was he not ensnared? Or am I remembering that?
Yeah, he was not ensnared, but he was in the fire. He was in the water, so the fire didn't happen. But he steps backwards out the other way, so he can't get gust of winded back in this time. But he's going to provoke an opportunity attack to do that, if you would like to make one, Jenny. Actually, Lucy can make one as well, Serena, if you'd like
14?
to attack. 14 is going to hit for 6. And 15 is also going to hit for the poison damage.
Okay, so...
Yeah, he takes the full poison damage, too.
12, 13, 14, and then the d6. 15 damage total.
All right.
Is he resistant or immune to specific damages?
Non-magical, but...
Yeah, all that is magic.
Yep, I know. So he steps backwards out of the river and is now on the opposite side of it, and his axe relights. Things are getting a bit hotter in here. And that's going to be all for his turn as we move on to Zewxip. Zewxip, you're in the thick of the forest fire. What do you want to do?
I want to move out of the fire, and I still have my gust of wind concentrated upon.
Yep.
But he moved out of the river
on the opposite side, so he couldn't get knocked back in. Yeah.
Is the opposite side of the river, has that been burnt out, or is it only on the one side of the river?
It's on both sides. The river was kind of like you basically carved a path with your gust of wind earlier and made like a safe space here in the middle. Otherwise, it's all burning around you.
Okay.
And some of that is starting to recatch just from the intense heat of the area.
Then I'll move and dash to continue to try and get around and push him back into the water. If it's not on this turn, it'll be on next, but I want to position myself while I still have my spell.
All right, so you're going to just move around and kind of get yourself ready for the next time. You wouldn't be able to do it and get the gust of wind going the way that you want it to in one round. It would probably take two. So.
Now, if I have to dash, I will, but if I could move and dodge and then move again and then push him with my wind, I'll do that instead of...
You could absolutely do that. So you move and dodge and get ready for next round, assuming that he stays where he is. That's all for your turn, Zewxip.
Correct.
As we move on to Jenny.
Well, since he moved away, I'm, of course, going to call him a coward, because all heroes do that to the villain when they run away. And then I'm going to shoot him.
All right.
Bang, bang!
That both are going to hit, actually. 10 is his armor class.
All right. So
He's a
that
bear.
is 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 2d6 from the hexes.
Oof.
So 6 plus 9 is 15, plus 13 is 28, plus 11 is 39.
Oof, 39. All right. He takes another sizable chunk, and he's starting to look pretty beat up. He's kind of covered in wounds, and you can see from like the open wounds on his body, flames seem to be almost like pouring out of them.
Then I'll move into melee range.
All right. Oh, you're gonna stay in melee range. I like it. In that case, that's going to bring us on to Serena. What would you like to do? Bear's looking pretty beat up. He's moved out of the river, so Lucy would have to go into the. Also, in that case, he's moved into like the fiery part of the forest.
I
So,
didn't.
at the end of your turn, Jenny, you're gonna take the full raging fire damage. So for 5 points of fire damage.
Okay. There's no save?
No, this just happens.
Alright,
Do you have anything to
concentration.
concentrate? Yeah, you're good though. So now, Serena, what do you want to do?
Using my longbow wouldn't be considered a magic attack, right?
If you put in like something like an ensnaring strike on it, I would say that it is. But just inherently, unless you had it glamored at some point, it would not be a magic weapon.
Okay. I'm gonna cast ensnaring strike and then use my longbow then.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll. Oof! That's rough. You pull back the longbow, and just the heat and the kind of smog in the air, you kind of end up coughing a little bit, and the arrow flies completely off mark. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Anything else on your turn?
No.
All right.
I'm gonna get Lucy to move out of the river back towards me.
All right. Yeah, Lucy kind of skitters up over to your side, and as it moves now onto Korr's turn, you snapped out of it, Korr. What do you want to do?
Korr, being mortified by his turns his anger towards this bear that forced him to throw his friend into the fire. He's gonna run at this thing, and since he's on the other side of the river, I'm gonna make an athletics to jump the river or the stream, whatever it is. I don't know how cold life it is.
From where you are, it would be a. Actually, no. To get up to him, yeah, you could do that in one round. So yeah, go ahead and make me an athletics check. If you jump over the river, you have advantage. Also, you're huge. You
Korr's
take,
fueled by his anger.
it's like one big step almost as you just bound the river and step up and go in for a charging run at Stokey the bear.
Okay, and I attack because I am
Alright.
angry at this boy.
Attack away.
1 attack, 2 attack.
Both of those are gonna hit. Roll damage on both.
Anger.
That's 17 more points of damage. Yeah, it's not quite enough to finish him off, but he's in
21
rough shape. And he kind of looks up at you, and as you're kind of bearing down, he kind of is trying to put his axe up sideways in defense, but you just hammer at him with the birdsong.
So
That's
bearing
21,
down?
not 17.
He's bearing down for sure.
Okay.
And bear down for midterms. Anything else on your turn?
There's nothing else, but you said that was 17 damage and 21.
21?
Yes.
Oh, I did it wrong in my head. You're right, it is 21. So yeah, he takes 21 damage, my mistake. So in that case,
Not a problem.
it's going to be Stokey's turn, and Stokey is going to look this time at you, Serena. Serena, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw. You succeed! You guys are rolling some hot wisdom saving throws. As he looks at you,
Except me.
and he looks at you.
Hot wisdom?
Yeah, I suppose so. And he kind of says something along the lines of, "Now remember, girl, always play with matches." And you just think, that's terrible advice. And shake your head, and you are unaffected. As he swings his axe around, he's going to go after you this time, Korr. Also, Korr, at the end of your turn, because you're also in the fire zone, you're going to take 8 points of fire damage. And that's a 10 to hit, which I know misses, and then a 14, which also misses. As he bangs down, both of them land heavy on your shield, and he is on his last legs as we move to you, Zewxip.
Move, reposition, force a
And-
save to dunk him.
All right, he's going to see if he gets one of these strength saves. It's the best facet of his game, but alas. And once more, Stokey the bear is dunked into the water.
Man, he's not doing so hot.
Yeah, he's...
Hot
hey!
guys.
And anything else on your turn, Zewxip? You still have an action.
dodge.
Fair enough.
Ask him to rethink his life choices. There's always redemption.
He looks up at you, and he responds with, "You know something, little flower? You're right. I've made a lot of mistakes over my time, and I think I should just mosey on back into the forest and forget my firebug ways. I'm sorry." As we move on to Jenny. It's it's not enough. It's not enough.
What? Wow.
Do you have more damage?
That's the Hex and the Hexblade's Curse.
Oof, still up. Still up. Hanging on by a thread, but still up.
Can I? No, because Thunder Step's an action. No, I can't finish him.
All right. In that case, that's going to bring us to Sereina. Sereina, what do you wish to do? He's on death's door. He has just said, however, even though Jenny seemed to ignore it, that he would give up burning things down and retreat quietly into the forest.
No, it happened on the same turn. We have the same initiative, Pete. You can't put this on me.
I've put it on you. Sereina, what do you want? Sereina.
Serena, not sure if she trusts the bear, is gonna draw her blade Shishio and intimidate him.
Oh, I thought you were attacking. Oh, wait, that's a thing.
Yeah.
What does he do? Or does he make a save? Or no, you just make an intimidation check with advantage. All right, go ahead and make an intimidation check with advantage. 16. All right, yeah. Stokey looks at you, and his eyes are just kind of like wide and scared, and you see him like kind of turning around and clamoring. All right, I said I'd leave. I'll leave. And he's like getting up. He takes his axe and he just kind of like plants it down into the ground in the riverbed, and he's gonna run. But it's Korr's choice whether or not he gets to like get go. I suppose. As Korr, you have a turn before him.
Now you see, this
But he
Korr,
looks like he's running away. What do you want to do, Korr?
You see, I'm torn here because Korr is very angry at this man. Korr just was throw his friend into fire, but Korr is also, at heart, a good person. So it comes up to whether Korr thinks he's going to stop or not. Let me make an intelligence check.
Okay.
Huh.
What do you do, Korr?
This is hard times here. I'm gonna.
You gotta make a call. What's the decision in this moment?
One-
He sees running.
I'm gonna roll a 1d.
I'll stop. I promise. I promise I'll stop. Never a flame again. I'll change my name. You could call me, I don't know, Put outie. There's gotta be a better name for a bear that protects woods.
I'm going to roll a d2 on a 1 ice attack. On a
All right,
roll.
flip a
This
coin.
was a PG-13 show, Pete. We're not talking about
And he
bears that
stabbed.
put out, are we?
Nice. All right, I guess he dies. Roll damage. And Stokey is dead. You go up and you think, and he's like leaning back. You slam down with the bird song, and Stokey goes down as the fire continues to rage around you. But you have defeated.
That was for my flower friend!
And
You explicitly did something that I didn't want you to do.
and as
You're welcome, buddy!
and as Zewxip says that, you guys have defeated Stokey, and The 3 kind of campers that you had gathered up and saved all move and are like kind of looking at you. Can we leave now? I don't want to be near him anymore. But they all seem kind of fine from the fire effect and the hypnosis now that he's gone.
I kind of just wave them off, like, get out of here.
And they all kind of
rapscallions.
They all begin just kind of like moving down the river as quick as they can, wading through the ash. And yeah, over time, you guys are able to exit from the flames, and you make it back up out with the commoners in tow and the source of this forest fire, presumably, dealt with. And you return. You can see Miss Styx standing there as you get back. Oh my goodness, they're actually safe. I can't believe it. Well, we owe you quite a debt of gratitude. We'll have to have some conversations with them, and she looks over, about responsible use of camping equipment and proper tending for campsites and leftover fires, but I'm just glad that they're alive. Thank you all so much for your help.
Allow us to camp for a while, and over the course of days, we can help regrow the forest quickly.
Wow, that's very generous of you. Of course, any help that you can offer, I'd be really grateful for. Thank you. And she pays each of you 200 Bartholomew bucks. And what does that sound? She pays each of you 200 Bartholomew bucks. You each gain 1 point of experience, and you have successfully completed this adventure. Congratulations. Stokey is no more.